Ain't it awful?
Well, quick update. We've been busy. Had Sean over here helping me. We got the dash out. But it's like 1:30 in the morning, so that'll be enough for today. Tomorrow, the next project. Heater box. I see the engine compartment. Well, once you get the dash out, I'll tell you the heater box is a real joke. I thought it was going to be more of a pain in the butt than that. So far, firewall and passenger floor pan look really, really, really good. So we're pretty psyched about that. Next, we're going to be getting on to the pedal box assembly, and I'm really excited about that that modification. Yeah, the old heater box and heater core out, and from what I can tell, the heater core on this bad boy was leaking for an awful long time. Pretty nasty. Got all the firewall insulation out as well. So yeah, no, I want to get the pedal box done, and I want to get the dash back in as soon as possible. It's a lot of screws, and while it's still fresh in my memory, I want to get it back in. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna get back to work now. Well, guys, we got the pedal box out. To anyone who's ever done that in a junkyard, I lift my hat off to you, sir or ma'am, because yeah, that was kind of a pain in the butt just to do it in garage with all the tools and everything I need at my disposal. I could just imagine lying in the junkyard trying to do this. Anyway, we're gonna get the old pedal box out, and we're gonna get the new pedal box. We're gonna put them side by side, see if there's any bracketry, and make sure we got the right part, and we'll take it from there. All right, guys. Well, that's a big step. Got the manual pedal box installed, but we're having some issues. When I press the clutch, the quadrant gets stuck on this bracket right here, this red one. I'm not sure if maybe the quadrant's installed wrong or if I did something wrong. Anyway, if you guys know what the heck I did wrong, please let me know so we can get it rectified. I am happy with the pedal box. I sure hope that it's not, you know, crooked from being in an accident or anything like that, and kind of hope I don't have to take it back out again, but if I do, I do. It's just how she goes. But I've been working on it for a good 6 hours today, this car. And honestly, with the pedal box, the quadrant getting stuck like that, kind of got a little bit frustrated. So I think I'm just going to stop for tonight, and we'll come back and we'll hit it again with the fresh, cool mind tomorrow after work. All right, guys. Well, out with the old, in with the new. I guess that would technically be considered the first performance part for the car. And we got the clutch quadrant on. It's the first time I've ever put one of these aftermarket dealies on. I'm just curious, is it normal that they only give you one washer and one sleeve and that this is floppy? I don't know, maybe you guys can help me with that. Anyway, I'm going to get it all put back into the car right now. And once that's done, we'll be able to put the column back up, get what's left of the dash back in, and we'll be able to move on to the next project. Now, I don't know if that'll be getting the spacers and getting the tires mounted and getting them put on the front, or if the next thing we should do is just make it faux no mo. Yeah, I'm trying to line up a cherry picker. I don't have one, and it's one of those things where I don't feel like necessarily buying one, considering I have a couple of friends that have them, and I'm sure they'd be happy to pass one to me. But anyway, you know what? I'll ask you guys your opinion. What should we do next? Should we get the 4-cylinder and the automatic out and start getting the under the hood ready, or should we leave that in there for the moment and start doing the front suspension? Anyway, I'm gonna ultimately decide to do what I want to do, and I'll be honest with you, it's probably gonna be the engine, but I'm curious what's you guys'. Hey YouTube, how you guys doing today? We're just here. I want to give you an update on the rusty box today. We've been working real hard at her, so I'd like to show you guys what we've been working on. As many of you viewers probably already know, we've received our skinny tires, and yeah, I'm doing some work on my lawnmower. I got to get some of these old parts we don't need cleared out. The dash is pretty much gutted and ready to go back in. We just have a few repairs to make with some JB weld, just where the bracketry where it bolts on near the firewall broke. Not trying to be a perfectionist, you won't see the JB weld done anyway under the cracked dash pad, so we're not too worried. We're keeping that mouse nest just for good luck, you know. We've been working hard peeling away my kids have been peeling away the insulation material, so, you know, put that labor to good use. All right, now, we treated ourselves. That's right, nothing like a Facebook marketplace buy. I got what I consider to be a good deal. I bought the tach, the mount, and the shift light. I got that all for 100 Canadian. That's maybe about 70 US. I'm not 100% sure, but I got some of my old gauges back from some old race cars that I had that I had lent to a friend. Unfortunately, I got them back cut, so that's always fun. And I got a lot of friends that work in junkyards, and I got this cool panel brought to me. He says it was out of some souped up Ford Ranger, but Ford logo. Got a couple of toggles, two-way switch. This is for air suspension. It's got the relief and the power branched into it. It's really good, actually. It's not good for me, but it's still pretty cool. We have a voltmeter, and we have an oil pressure gauge with, unfortunately, also a cut line in the back. So I'm going to try and do the best I can to reuse my gauges if I can, and if not, I'll have to buy some cheap ones. This was an old race car I'd built. I had to buy these fittings to actually make the water temperature one here work, so it pisses me off even more that my buddy cut it, but it is what it is. When you lend stuff, I guess you can't expect it back in good shape all the time. This is that piece on the dash that I have to JB weld back on. Alright, now in the car. We're pretty much at this point, once the dash is fixed, we're ready to put the dash back in. We have our manual pedal box. We have the brake pedal hooked up. We have the brake light switch hooked up. We have full play on our clutch. We have our new Steeda quadrant. We'll be using probably a brand new, or if I can find a decent deal on a used one, probably I don't know what I'm going to do for a cable yet anyway, but there'll probably be a firewall adjuster purchased, but we're not there yet. I just wanted to get the pedals in, the dash back in. I try to do work in one area at a time so that I don't forget where screws and nuts and bolts go, and you know, you don't want to get flustered either. But I'm really happy to see that the pedal box is in. I had to do some persuasion after some research and some help from some kind people, and to be honest, a little bit of help on the four-eyed pride. I found out that the 79 through, anyway, the 4-speed manual cars didn't have a quadrant. It was just direct cable to the pedal assembly. And for some reason, I guess the bracket back here is a different angle than a newer style car, because this is a 1980. And when we took the automatic pedal box out and we put the manual one in, I still had the factory garbage quadrant with the adjuster. And anyway, it ended up hitting here, and I originally thought that maybe we could get away with just putting the steeda quadrant, and it would give us the room we needed. But one of my buddies pointed out to me that it was the pin that was hitting and blocking. It wasn't the quadrant itself. But anyway, we got out our BFH, and it took 3 shots with the hammer. 2 on the bracket and 1 on my hand. But now, clutch goes all the way to the floor and comes back without binding, and a nice pedal pad, so I'm happy about that too. And yeah, I'm really happy to have the pedal box and the quadrant installed. I was originally just going to install the pedal box, like I said, with the factory quadrant, but when you think about how much easier it was to do it, you know, just on the workbench while it was out, you know, if the dash is already out, might as well have done it right away. So anyway, so that's pretty much what we have going on there. We're going to get the dash back in, and we're going to get our skinnies mounted this week. And once we get the dash back in, we'll start placing gauges and stuff the way we want. But the next project is Project Faux No Mo. Yeah, that's right. This thing's got to go. I've put it for sale on some dirt track websites or Facebook groups, some demolition derby groups, on some Fox body groups. I've been laughed at as well. For the stock C4, I'm thinking C4. Anyway, this 3-speed automatic garbage that we don't care about. And the 2.3, running and driving, everything. Carb, fan, starter, everything you need to make this engine go, with brand new motor mounts and a brand new mechanical fuel pump in the box. I was asking 200 Canadian. Do the math, the US exchange rate, probably somewhere around 160, 170 bucks, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a good mathematician. But anyway, long story short, for what I thought was cheap, and I actually had some people like be outright offended that I was trying to sell it. So if I don't get a response in the next week, it's going to the scrap. You know, it's unfortunate because it runs and drives. I thought it could have been good for someone, but apparently nobody wants it. And honestly, at this point, I'd even almost give it away. But, you know, if nobody wants it, nobody wants it. So it is what it is. Anyway, by the time this video gets uploaded, it'll probably be long gone by then. But once we have the engine and transmission out, and hopefully we can find a V8, you find our 302 in the meantime. But like I said, I'm trying to do things on a budget, and I will not spend $1,000, $1,500 on an engine, because that's, let's just face it, that's ridiculous. I could buy, if I could find it, a running and driving Explorer for probably $700 or $800, and there you go. I'd have my heads, and I'd have my motor right there, and then I'd get to scrap the body and get whatever that's worth back. But anyway, we'll see what happens. You know, I'm sure the right deal will come along. In the meantime, we still have plenty to do. You know, we're going to continue on our weight loss journey. We're going to take it one step at a time. But yeah, that's pretty much where you're at, guys. So we'll be getting this thing out, and we'll have more updates to come. I don't know if some of you guys are into it, but I used to do a lot of demolition derby racing, and this year it's my duplex, and upstairs I have an apartment that I rent out to one of my very best buddies, Mick. Sometimes I'll refer to him as the Frenchman. He raced this thing last weekend. It's a 90-something Dodge van, Dodgy-Ban, if you know what that is. Yeah, it definitely took the beats. Ended up having the coil implode on itself. A couple of real nasty shots to the rear. And it was a really clean van too. I mean, a little bit in the seams, but... So, these are the kind of race cars I used to build. Did this for many, many years. 12 years? 11 years? 5, 6 cars, all different sorts of things. Trucks, cars, mini pickups, mini vans. A lot of 8-cylinder. Mostly anything I could get rear-wheel drive. But, yeah, no, I stopped doing that a couple years ago. It's pretty rough on the body, and you get tired of, at one point, you get tired of just putting all the time and money and effort into a vehicle, you know, for 10 minutes of fun, which is why I'm trying to enter the drag racing world now, because yeah, it costs more money in theory to build the car, but you also come back home with your car in the trailer at the end of the night. So yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. I don't know if it interests you. If it does, you can see some of my other videos, some cars I raced. I had a 98 Lumina that I derbied on my YouTube. I have a 1983 Mercury that I derbied on my YouTube, and I think I have a short clip of my 78 Ford Thunderbird that I ran in the Derby years ago. I got to race that one in a professional stadium. We were the halftime show for the Monster Spectacular Monster Truck show, so that was quite the experience. I'll see if I can't find a picture and clip it in. But yeah, no, that was an awesome car. That was a 351 M400. Had a C6 trans out of a Ford truck. Yeah, it was 2-barrel. Had DEC 4-into-1 headers coming out of the hood, and spent a lot of time on that car. Learned how to weld on that car. There wasn't a seam on that frame or in that body that could be welded that I didn't. And yeah, no, I had a lot of fun doing that. But even though all my friends still do the derbies, I'm more into the race car stuff now. Got a beautiful property one day if I win the lottery to totally extend this garage though. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to fill you guys in on that and show you guys that there was a demolition derby full-size van in my yard. All right, so there you have it. We bought some parts. We're working on some things, and I always appreciate you guys' feedback, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. I know I'm not very good with a camera, and I know I'm not that entertaining, but I don't do this for the views. You know, I've met a lot of nice people doing this and through their channels as well. So if I can contribute something to the community, you know, show you that anybody can do this. If you ask for help, you'll get it. You know, and if you don't mind doing a little bit of research, you know, let's not get, you know, I have experience working on cars, but where I worked, we changed oil and did brake pads and, you know, even some basic suspension work. I've never torn transmissions apart. I've never changed a rear end myself unless it was the whole rear end. So, you know, rebuilding the 8.8 and, you know, the T5 that I bought, you know, taking that apart, this is all stuff that intimidates me, but, you know, I'm going to learn and I'm going to show the good and the bad. You know, I try to stay humble. I don't know everything. I know far from everything. I'm not an expert. If you're here looking for advice, I'm not that guy, but, you know, we do what we can, and we do it for fun, and we do it because videos just like this, but much better made, motivated me to do this, so maybe I can motivate one of you to do this. Anyway, we'll have a cool car one day, but we're working at it, and, you know, a little bit each day, spare time when we can, when the finances allow to buy parts. And we'll get there. We'll have something to show. But, you know, next summer, we are hitting the strip. That is for sure. I have plans in work for the shop. It's not going to be completely finished and completely insulated before the winter, but I'm going to be able to do enough where I can maybe seal up with some plastic and some pink insulation for the winter, seal it up, and get some sort of a heater in here so we can actually work. And so yeah, my goal is just keep doing what we're doing, plugging away, and we'll get there one day. So again, thanks for watching. See you guys next week.